Hi, I'm Jennifer.
Hi, I'm Mike, and welcome aboard to our brand new podcast called Taking Off with Mike and Jen.
In this podcast, we will be diving in and unpacking all the baggage, anything from communication to finances, family dynamics, expectations, and what it looks like to fight or flight.
We have 32 years of marriage and a lot of Christian counseling under our belts, so no matter where you find yourself, whether that's being single, dating, engaged, or married, this podcast is just for you.
Are you ready to take your relationships to new heights?
If so, sit back, relax. We have been cleared for takeoff.
Hello, guys. Welcome to Flight 6. We're back.
We are back.
Hopefully a little bit lighter, a little bit. We'll try. I think we're going to dig right in and talk about being in a new city. New city, another new city, left Illinois, left Indiana. I think we mentioned, lived in Illinois, newly married, lived with his mom in this teeny little house. That was crazy. Then he got the job in Indiana. Almost got his head chopped off by a prop airplane.
Ooh, that's a funny story.
Not really. He really almost did get his head chopped off by a propeller airplane that he was flying. But he's okay. His head is attached. Then he ended up getting a great job in Atlanta, which propelled us to move to Atlanta.
Yes. So
Yep.
we're in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm. Marietta, actually.
We're trying to have kids. We found a good church. We are going to Christian counseling.
Ah, yes.
And we like to emphasize the word Christian counseling.
Yes. Tell him why, honey. Tell him why.
You want me to tell?
Sure.
You want to tell?
No, you go ahead.
Okay. So we had made this decision that we were both going to follow the Word of God.
Yes.
And at the same time, we have all this baggage that is just destroying us. It's the enemy, the past, the things that we are brought up with, we call baggage. The things that the enemy, as Jennifer has mentioned in the past, has just uses against you. You know, it brings up your indiscretions. It brings up your mistakes. It brings up all this stuff. The baggage of maybe I respond too quickly to stress, or maybe stress causes Jennifer to spend money. Or no, it's those types of things. Where do you go that you think is going to make you feel better, right? So by us going to Christian counseling, we have this book.
Well, sorry,
Yeah.
I'm interrupting. But let me say a reason, too, why we picked Christian counseling, because we had now met some people and have known friends at this point that also would, let's say, go to counseling. And where we found the difference was the people that we knew that would go to just secular counseling, just normal counseling. Great counselors. I have nothing against that. But they were sort of instructed more to always be self. So how does it make you feel if you're not happy, if you're this, if you're that? A very, to me, kind of me-centered, whereas the people we had talked to that shifted and went to Christian counseling, they were going to, we felt like, try a little bit harder that divorce was going to not be an option. You battle it out and everything was taken from the lens of what does the Bible say? And then how are you to go on with life this way? And so we just felt like that was more our path in choosing that, that we are all going to be on the same page as opposed to the take care of you, make yourself feel good, blah, blah, blah. That's just wasn't for us.
And
so that's
yeah, I believe what's so powerful about the Christian counseling is the counselor is always directing you to what the Word of God says. Mm-hmm. And so there is definitely a psychological aspect to counseling that you and all counselors will go down that road with, understanding they will get into your past, they will get into that baggage. But it's, what do you do with that baggage? Yeah, it's there. Now, how do you apply that baggage to your life? And that's where Christian counseling is so powerful, is you have always a direction on where to place that dirty laundry, per se, that baggage. How does God see what happened in abortion? How does God see what happened in addiction to pornography? How does God see I filed for bankruptcy? How does he see that? What does he say about that? That's where Christian counseling, I always have a guidebook. I always have direction on where to go. And I think that's where we wanted to touch on the Bible. When you understand it, when you truly get the Bible and get that it is literally a love letter. It is a love letter, as if you are writing it, as if you are writing it to your friends, as if you're writing it to your children. Here's a guide that I'm going to give you that is going to tell you how much I love you, give you the clarity on how to get through life. Is it a book of rules? You can look at it as a book of rules, or you can look at it as it is a book of do's, don'ts, or it's a book of, guess what? If you follow this, I'm going to keep you out of trouble. And what do I mean by that? There's, hundreds of things in the Bible, hundreds of them, that are don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. Is it any different than I say, hey, if you go down that road over there, there is a fire, and if you drive into it, your car is going to get burned. Oh, hey, thanks. Appreciate it. Was it a don't? Absolutely.
It's just how you look at it.
It's how you look at it. Absolutely. If I said, you know what? I bet if you get drunk tonight, you might make a bad decision on something that you don't want to do. Has anyone ever done that before?
Me.
So it might look like there's a bunch of don'ts, but in reality, it's a bunch of, I'm going to protect you. 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 And that's what it really is. And when you change your view of that and you look at it through that lens of, I am here to help you, in a love letter, you absolutely fall in love with it, and you like to read it. And it's a lifesaver, and it saved us. It absolutely saved us. I had a no divorce policy with Jennifer, but we were going down a terrible path of hating each other, essentially.
Yeah. And just interject a little bit. I also want people to understand, we've dealt with this in young couples that we've mentored before. Not that they're afraid of the baggage word, but sometimes people think when you say baggage, it implies that the love they have for their mom or dad or any of that is somehow not there anymore, or they feel like, oh no, I'm going to hate my parents because this is my baggage or whatever. And that's not true. Don't be fooled by that. Everybody has baggage, whether it's from your parents, your grandparents, your teacher, your friends, anyone you've come in contact up to this point. Anyone could have said anything or done anything, and it affected you a certain way. So even if you have some things in your own life that, let's say it was a result of your parents or something in your family, that doesn't mean that in certain cases that they didn't love you to pieces. It just means that they did the best with what they knew how, because they have a ton of baggage too. And back in our day, no one talked about it. You don't talk about it. You never talk about it. Kind of still to this day.
Meaning when we were young, like our parents would not be talking about this stuff.
Kids are to be seen.
Their baggage.
No, wait, heard? Wait, kids are to be seen and not heard. That's what it was. So yeah, just take that a little bit lightly. Don't freak out if you are like, oh, I do have baggage, but if I think this or say this, it's going to mean whatever against my family. And that's not true. Don't listen to that. That's my little side note.
The bottom line is if you don't address the issues in your life and you don't address the things that say you understand, I really have a short wick. I get upset quickly. You need to go to that place and figure out, why does that happen? Did you see that as a kid? Did you grow up in a atmosphere where your dad or your mom was that's all you saw for 18 years in the house, was a very short wick. And so you naturally go there. And now you're with a boyfriend, girlfriend, spouse, and they say, what is your problem? Why is this bothering you? Well, number one, you're going to get all riled up because they said, what's your problem?
Right. I've heard that so many times.
And so then I'm going to introduce a word here, a fear cycle. We're going to talk about that, not in this one, but stay tuned. We're going to talk about a fear cycle. It's essentially a circle that goes back and forth.
Round and round.
I push her button, she pushes mine. I push her, she pushes mine. And it doesn't end. So we'll talk about that. But the point is, each one of us has this baggage, these things that happen to us that affect the way and form us, so that when we get with somebody in a relationship, it's gasoline and fire.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Two different people raised two different ways by two different everything. It's kind of funny, actually.
It almost seems like a joke in a way.
We've said that before.
Right.
Like, God, you're funny, to try and put two people together that are super opposite in so many ways.
What it realizes and what you come to the realization is, God wants you to lean on Him. You don't lean on yourself, and you don't lean on your spouse, you lean on Him. Mm-hmm. And if you lean on Him and you lean on His love letter to you, it's going to get you to the point where you now appreciate each other, understand how different you are, and then you're there to help each other's wounds. You're there to unpack that baggage, get that laundry clean, understand why each other are the way we are. Why do you feel this way, Jennifer? Why do you feel this way, Michael?
So I'm sure, because we're going to try to be a little bit lighter in this episode, we're not going to go deep with it, but you kind of sparked something that made me think of something, which was how I didn't realize this, but I felt like Michael was like my knight in shining armor. And
I am.
I know you are. And literally, I didn't realize I was putting him on this huge pedestal that, God forbid, he stepped off of for even a moment. My expectations of him.
You said we weren't going deep.
No, we're not. I'm throwing it out there because I don't want to forget in the future. My expectations of him in this marriage and to me as my husband was, just out of this world. And so that's where a ton of our fighting kind of led to.
I could not live up to the expectation that she was holding me to.
No, sad. You couldn't. Anyway, we'll touch on that later.
Heck yes, we will.
Didn't know if we'd really
talked
about
haven't.
that. But so back to the fun talk. Okay, so we're in the new city. Michael has a new job. I've transferred again, bases. We're trying to get pregnant.
And we finally do.
Yes, we do.
So I'm in the shower. It's Mother's Day.
Yeah. It's church, I think. We're getting ready to go to church.
I don't know, but I can tell you right now, I can look out the door right now. And why are you standing there? What do you want? I'm in the shower. What do you want?
It's true. I think that's what you said.
Open the door, and of course, she's going to be having a raccoon face, which is her.
Yeah, that's my cry face. My nose and my eyes get all raccoony and red. It's not pretty.
And there it was. She was pregnant.
Yeah.
3-year wait.
Yep.
And she was pregnant.
Yes.
And it was a prayer answered, obviously. It was probably so much of that guilt that she had felt and the weight of everything just flying off.
Yeah.
And it was really an exciting time.
And to know it on Mother's Day.
And to know it on Mother's Day. That's when she did the test and know it on Mother's Day.
To me.
So that was really, really fun. And so, now we're in this stage of our life. I have a pregnant wife and she's getting bigger by the day and she's getting more needy by the day and she doesn't like this and she wants this. And so do the best I can to understand that
did.
there's hormonal changes and there's things that I
Let me tell.
need to go through. So go ahead, tell.
So one day I came home, and cravings are real. Some women don't have them, some do, whatever. I really kind of sailed through pregnancies. I didn't have a lot of nauseousness, and
You're a snacker too, right?
I'm a snacker now. That's all I do. I snack all day long. So one day I
Like
came
a
home.
little squirrel.
Yes. One day I came home and Michael had this big Tupperware filled with all my favorite snacks. And on the lid, it says snack for Jen Baby, I think is what.
Something.
Matter of fact, I still have that Tupperware with that lid. I saved it. I'm never getting rid of it.
And it went everywhere with us.
Everywhere. It stayed in the car. It went everywhere. So there was never a time that I was hungry or needed something and there wasn't something in there, sweet, salty, whatever, fruit. I just carried on my own all the time. But I just thought that was super, super sweet because
It was super sweet.
I was hungry a lot. And, I craved what's crazy, you guys. So all I wanted was watermelon. I would eat one whole watermelon a week. I mean, I ate lots of stuff, but I can remember I ate one whole watermelon
And
a
then
week.
you quit liking cucumbers.
Oh yeah,
to this
I still.
day.
They taste like fish.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't. But anyway, so yeah, those were.
So that was
sweet
a
times.
very fun 10
It was
months
sweet, yeah.
to us. We were still going to counseling. We were
Mm-hmm.
young married couple of whatever
Bought a
now,
house.
3 years. We are in a house. I'm doing some flying. She is a little bit of flying up until a certain point, I guess.
No, I don't.
I
think-
can't remember
No,
exactly
no,
what you
because-
did.
No, I didn't fly. I have this thing where I pass out without warning, and I couldn't be on the medicine while I was pregnant.
yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, yeah,
So I
so you
couldn't.
didn't
I was
fly.
home.
That's
I was
right.
doing stuff,
But it-
nesting, nesting, eating.
But it was a transition. That's the funny
Mm-hmm.
thing about like you, and I want to bring this point up. You're always looking for the next best thing. That's a human nature thing. We want to have a baby. That's what we want to have. Let's try for a baby. We get pregnant. Well, now we can't go eat everywhere that we could have eaten because that's going to make her sick. Or we have to go eat all the time or she's going to get moody because she needs to be eating and snacking all the time. All I'm saying is it's a transition that you go through. Enjoy
Think before
it.
You do.
But enjoy every minute because you look back and you say, "Oh my gosh, that was really fun when you weren't pregnant and we were able to do whatever we wanted, eat where we want, not have to think about that, not have to think about this." Of course, she's going to get into hyper baby mode. I've got to buy this, I got to prepare this, we got to do this, blah blah blah. We're old school. We did not find out what we were going to have. It was a surprise on the day of the birth, both of our kids.
Oh, and
Super fun, super Christmas time type feeling. Open that present and out pops the baby. Super duper fun. So we go through this process and I remember
Oh, sorry. I was going to say in the middle of this, I was probably already at 8 months. I was pretty big. And we're night owls. So we would stay up real late and then sleep till like 11.
Oh, yeah.
noon. And one day we were lying in bed with our 2 dogs, Paz and Molly, German Shepherd and Golden Retriever. And we wake up to the sound of what I think is a car that had landed on the roof.
That's what it sounded like.
It literally was that loud. We fly out of bed and there's a car in our backyard. It had skidded off the road, speeding, and came into the backyard. So now here I am, 8 months pregnant, and a car's in our backyard. And I can kind of remember, I don't really freak out, but I think I kind of freaked out. And I was like, selling the house. We are selling the house. We're moving out of this house. We can't have a baby and let it not play in the backyard. And I just remember you going, wait, whoa. And I'm like, no, we're selling the house, which we did. We put it up for sale. It didn't sell right away. But anyway, that was thrown into the mix of all
Those
this
are the
craziness
little
as well.
things that happen that are, she has this protective,
Sure.
she's carrying this baby. After
Your baby.
After this thing that we had all gone through with what we already talked about on the previous.
We also sold.
Well, we didn't sell till later.
Yeah. No. We sold the boat and we sold the Forerunner. and we got a used Honda Accord.
We did.
We were trying to be fiscally responsible because now we had a bun in the oven.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so we were trying to get out of debt,
Yeah.
trying to
Proud moment.
trying to prepare ourselves.
Yep.
We always got into debt, then we get out of debt. And when we go into debt, then we get out of
Yeah,
debt. And that was
yeah.
kind of a cyclical pattern
Yeah.
there for a while.
So sorry, you were pregnancy.
So,
Okay.
so it's time for the baby to be delivered. And she's in this crazy, I'm about to burst. I got to get to the hospital. We're about 4 miles away from the hospital. We got to go now. We have to go right now. And, that's a little stressful. I'm like, okay, we'll get there. Let's go. We got to go right now. So we go to the hospital. Guess what happens? They send us home. Oh, false alarm. I'm like, okay, fine. The following morning, it's coming right now. We got to go. Stress. And like a little ice storm happened the night before.
A big ice
So
storm.
we're only 4 miles away from the hospital, and I'm driving down the road about 20 miles an hour, and she's just
No, you were
losing
like
her
5.
losing her mind, like the baby's coming
She's
out, like
going
we're going to
so
deliver this
slow.
baby in the car. Absolutely. It's trauma time. And
It was black ice.
I don't know that's what she's saying, but I don't want to have this baby in the grass on the side of the road because I crashed on the side of the road. So we
Well,
get to the hospital.
Then I got mad at you. I remember yelling at you in the car. Number one, he was not going 20. He was going, I'll give him 10. You were maybe going 10.
That's a good number.
And I was mad at him because we sold the stupid 4Runner and now we're in this Honda Accord that's sliding all over the road. So I was mad about that.
So we
too.
were in a big hurry, and I'm glad she was yelling at me because when we got to the hospital, it took 13 hours to have our baby. So that's how important it was to drive fast to the hospital, right?
It's my first time. I didn't know.
The hospital with snacks, me sleeping on the floor.
No.
I had a ginormous video camera that was
yeah.
on my shoulder, and I was going to make a movie. I'm telling you, I was making a movie. What the rating was, anybody can imagine. I don't care. I'm doing it. She doesn't care because she wants the baby
I
out.
didn't care.
You can put that camera wherever you want. And we have that baby. And I remember leaving the house. And our baby had been our German Shepherd and our Golden Retriever, especially our German Shepherd. Our German Shepherd had been with us right after we got married in California, had gone to Illinois, had gone to Indiana. She was our baby. I would have protected her for anything in the world. And I remember telling our little baby, bye, we're going to come home with a little human. And as soon as our son was born, after 13 hours of waiting, I'm telling you, you will not have a feeling like this unless you have a child. It is a magical feeling that when that baby is handed to you, you have this, you turn into a Viking. I felt like a Viking, like I will fight the entire world to protect this baby. And it's the most wonderful feeling that is only in my life has only happened when I've had my 2 kids. And you can't explain it, but it is magical. Mm-hmm. It is wonderful. And I'll say that too, not to bring any heaviness, but just a tad to what we've talked about on our previous flights. Remember, this is a gift from God, and you will feel that gift like no other. So don't forget that if you're in a situation where you are pregnant, it will be a gift. Absolutely. No matter what. So we have this baby. And of course, it's your typical new parents of trying to get the baby in the car seat, not trying to squish him in the car seat. They're like clay. God knew that there were going to be
blobs.
2 dumb kids that were going to have this baby. There's a little soft spot on their head. And that's about the only spot that you have to be careful of. And other than that, you might as well roll them down the bowling alley because they really are built to last. So you squish them in the thing and they're crying and moms are crying, and be careful. And it's on a whole nother level because, 2 months later, she's like whipping the kid into the car, and you'll hear some great stories of things that happened to poor Nicholas along the way. But we get the baby home, and here's another one of those really crazy moments. We come into the house, and I remember walking into the house, and I look at my German Shepherd, and it was like, I don't know you. I will stab you if you do anything to this baby. I will absolutely kill you. Like it is a transition you can't explain when you have this human in your hands, and yet you've had this German Shepherd for 4 years that has been your absolute baby. You just told her 15 hours ago,
right?
I love you. We'll be back. She turned out to be the most wonderful dog.
She was great
with him, but it's a weird deal. It's a very, very weird deal how you transition to what you know is important in your life.
That's neat from a guy's perspective.
Oh,
I feel like no one
incredible.
talks about the man's perspective. I feel like, of course, it's the woman. She's carrying the baby. Nicholas and I still say that's why we're way more connected, because he lived inside my little belly. But no one really talks about the dad and the feelings that you went through during that time. Pretty cool.
And the parenting aspect of a newborn, once again, you not only want to get pregnant, going back to what I previously said, you want to get pregnant so bad, and then it changes your life. And then you want that baby so badly, and you come home and you're just saying to yourself, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever. And at the same time, all he does is poop and eat and sleep, and they never do it when you wanted them to do it. They don't. So you're tired, and you're tired of diapers.
They pee on your face if you have a boy,
Oh yeah, you have to.
everywhere.
You just have to develop this.
No, they did. They have an invention. It's
I know, but I'm talking in
thing.
my day. It's
you just
it's pee straight up, or you put your hand over there. As soon as the diaper comes off,
That's right. Air
cold
hits it.
temperature, pee starts. So you have to be ready for it. It's super.
If you have a boy. Yeah.
It only happens once. To me,
Oh.
it only happened one time because I
Happened a couple
learned.
times.
Yeah,
right.
But it's super fun. But then
Remember we took him to the movies with us.
about a night or two into it, you're like, gosh, I just want to sleep. I don't want to get up at 2 a.m. I want to sleep. I don't want to change diapers. And now you're looking backwards on how great it was, because you're always looking forwards until you say, oh gosh. And so now you want that baby to be out of diapers.
And you were super sweet too. Let me do a little side note, a little puff up my husband for a moment, because Nicholas.
Oh, by the way, I changed his poopy diaper first, and changed my daughter's poopy diaper first in the
says it
hospital.
All the time.
I will repeat it to the end of time. I did it.
I was tired. Anyway, no, I just wanted to say, see, now I lost my train of thought, honey.
That's all right. It was just a nice thought.
About
okay.
you.
That's okay.
What was it? Sorry. If I think about it, I'll interrupt you again.
But every parent will go through this. Every single parent will go through, they're ready for the next stage. They're ready for that baby to be out of diapers.
Live in the
They're
moment.
ready, live in the moment. As a guy in the beginning, like, this baby's a blob. It's not moving. It just poops. I hand it to you so it can eat, or I feed it, or, putting it to bed.
I remember.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I wanted to say that Michael was super sweet, because I tried to nurse Nicholas, and he had allergies, apparently. So it was a fight. He wouldn't nurse, and we had to put him on special hypoallergenic formula. Again, financially, that cost us a lot of money because it's not cheap. And we were still in debt at that point. But Michael would be so sweet. So in the middle of the night, he would, when I was first trying to nurse, you would go and get Nicholas and bring him next to me. And then that didn't work. And I just thought that was super, super sweet, because I was trying to nurse and you didn't have to get up. A lot of dads just roll over and get sleep, and he's a big sleeper. So I thought that was super sweet. And then, of course, when we put him on formula, you would take turns and let me sleep 4 hours.
Sometimes, just so that we're being open and honest, you need to pretend like you're asleep and you don't hear the baby crying.
Oh my gosh, yes. I didn't know he did that till years later. Later.
I'm like, I'm just in a really deep sleep and I don't hear the baby crying. So if you wait long enough, then she'll get up and she'll go.
You told me that probably, I want to say, less than 10 years ago.
Well, I
And
mean,
I
you
was
know,
like, I cannot believe that you stinking did that. But I can.
I just got to be honest. I need these people out here to know that happens. It potentially can happen. I will say this.
Don't do it, guys.
When you get up, it's terrible.
Oh, it's so terrible. It hurts.
It is absolutely painful. However, the minute you pick your child up, they're in your arms.
Yeah.
It is the sweetest thing.
Yeah.
Next to the birth of the baby, that's the next sweetest thing that I will say that I experience is you go from hell of getting up to, okay, I'm up. This baby's in your arms and you see this little gift of God and it's the best thing ever. Yeah. It doesn't sustain you enough to want to get up the next time, but when you're there in the moment, it's fantastic. It really is. It's so great.
Oh, that's so funny. You're so bad.
I know. So we
didn't fight a lot. I mean, we did, but it was kind of, again, about the same stuff. It was the expectations then it became the expectations of how I, in my head, imagine he should be as a dad of a newborn. It certainly wasn't rolling over pretending he was asleep when he wasn't. So, and then I'm tired. So, there was the general fighting having a newborn. But nothing too crazy.
The fights are always out of selfishness.
For sure.
And you can put the blame right back to yourself because that's what it always is. I just take full responsibility for it. 100%. 100%. It's hard to say that, but it's 100%. Because you sometimes get tired of doing the right thing because for whatever reason, maybe your spouse is not doing the right thing. And so that's wrong on their side, but it's still a selfish move for you not to continue to do the right thing, as hard as it might be. That's what love is, right? I mean, and so that's, again, why we condone Christian counseling, is you get to those issues and you learn and you grow and so forth, so on. So the little boy continues to get older and older and older, and each phase goes by. And as I said before, you can't wait for them to get out of diapers. You can't wait for them to crawl. You can't wait for them to stand up. You're ready for the next phase. And then when you get to the new phase, you want to go back. You want to go back. If they just weren't able to walk and go stick their fingers into there and just crawl around. Oh my gosh, how nice is it just to hold a baby and all you have to do is feed it.
Right.
And the minute they learn how to talk, it's a whole nother level of trauma.
It's over.
A whole nother level of trauma that we'll get into, because now you start talking about, this is what I think we need to do with him. And you think this is the way you need to do it with him. And boy, that brings up a whole nother level of let's unpack fighting. Some more baggage.
Mm-hmm. How you raise your kid. Yeah.
So we're going to stop right here. That is having our first child.
Yeah, just a sweet episode of sort of what to expect.
Yep. Should we tell them about the second child and leave them hanging?
What do you mean?
Guess how long it took to get pregnant the second time? That's what we'll talk about next time on the next flight. So we'll call this a pretty short hop today. Just up and down.
It's a commuter flight.
Exactly. A little more fun. Again, send in your questions. Let us know what you think. I know there's a lot of people out there that are pregnant who just had children. It's a complete blast. We've had nothing but a fantastic time. Our kids in their mid-20s now, and it's been our best thing that we've been able to do in our life, without a doubt. Yeah. And every single area, as I said, I'll leave at this. Every stage they're in is a great stage.
Yeah, just live in it. If this flight, I got messed up, didn't I? If this flight, number 6, you learn anything, it's literally like Michael said, be content in the moment and the stage that you're in. Don't be in such a rush, because it happens so fast. It goes by so fast, even when they're in their terrible 2s, 3s, 15s, whatever it is. Love it, because then they grow up and it's done.
And for whatever reason, there's certain times you're going to say, I about lost my mind during those times.
Yep.
But yet, for some sick reason, you want to go back to it. You want to experience it again. And I don't know what that is. Grace of God, I guess.
Well, thank you guys. Thanks
for joining us
on Flight 6.
That's right. We'll see you next time.
Night.
Bye-bye.